Hello, folks. Good evening. I'm George Saramuga.
Oh, my name is Patrick Monahan.
You know, folks, we're coming to you from the sacred Black Hills of Rapid City, South Dakota. And it's a pleasure to be here tonight. It's a privilege to have your time. And we've had a couple days together. Patrick and I go way back, 22 years, friendship. Started at Ellsworth Air Force Base back in 1998, both Air Force veterans. And so salute out there to all our veterans here that may be watching and for all that you do in the military active duty that continues to help and serve us. Folks, we've been about 2 months into this pandemic that's been gripping the world and really paralyzing the world, and it's a way I believe God has gotten the world's attention. And we have such a powerful and wonderful God is that as this pandemic started, he's already working for good. He's detoxing our planet, Patrick. The air is cleaner. The water's running cleaner in many places. The food, people are getting out and moving more. And I believe, and I've seen clinically as a physician, people getting back more to the spirit of love, connecting all that is good. It isn't about a church. It's about a relationship with our Creator, with our God. And so we have some opinions, don't we, Patrick?
We do.
We do. In terms of where we're at now with this pandemic and maybe some suggestions going forward. But folks, these are only our opinions. And you know what? We value your opinions and we meet people where they're at. Because not everybody obviously has the same opinions. So with that little bit of a backdrop, again, 2 months into this pandemic, this is May 17th, 2020. It's a Sunday. We just had a beautiful day, beautiful hiking in the Black Hills. We're going to share some thoughts, some reflections from two common guys that love the world, love people, love the country. And so, Patrick, what are your thoughts in terms of the last couple months, reflection, and where do we need to go?
Well, we've talked about a lot of different things. I'll give you an example for myself. We'd all like to think we haven't been affected by this, but we have. Mm-hmm. My wife and I were in the store last week, and I love an apple a day, and we go over to the produce section, and she said, what about these, the individual ones? And I said, we're not eating those right now. We're eating the ones out of the bag. And that's when I realized this has affected me, too.
Sure.
The hand sanitizing, the constantly washing your hands, the really being aware, cognizant of that is something that I didn't realize until last week. And something George said, we got to meet everybody where they're at.
Yeah.
So we wear a mask when that happens out of respect for people that are around us. If somebody feels like, that's important to them, maybe they're compromised, we're going to do it. It's not that I'm anti-mask. As George and I have talked about a lot, there's a lot of sensationalism around this. And I don't think anybody really knows what's right. There's some science behind it, but it's mixed.
It is.
And I think then you've got a lot of polarization, and it's a pretty hot political topic.
As me as a physician, the medical community is good about saying wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, and we know that what we should be doing with any infectious disease, right?
Right.
Whether it's influenza, a common cold, whatever it may be, okay? And so we're not going to be able to pill, potion, procedure, vaccine, or medicine our way out of this, okay? It's all about, folks, how I believe, practicing 28 years as a family practice doc, it's using our God-given immune system. That is our best defense against any diseases, cancers, anything, is stimulating our immune system. And how we do that, I talk about the Creator's model of healthcare, the 5 pillars of wellness. And we lived them this weekend, didn't we?
We did. We have.
Yeah, and that's the answer, folks, for this virus, any other future viruses, because we've had MERS and SARS and Zika and Ebola and Co-vid, and what's it going to be next?
Right.
And so the answer isn't more pills, potions, and procedures, folks. The answer is stimulating our immune system, the Creator model of healthcare, and we're going to explain that. And the first pillar is what we call Miniwachoni in Lakota. Agua es vida in Spanish. Water is life. Half our weight in ounces. We drink that water, that helps us we can't live without. It stimulates our immune system. Okay? We have to do all these things that help decrease stress, stimulate our immune system. And then the second one is food is medicine. A plant-based diet. I didn't say vegetarian, but plant-based diet. And we've eaten a lot of plants this last few days.
Yes, we have.
You know, and that's where all your nutrients and your minerals and all that promotes a good, healthy immune system. Again, a strong, healthy immune system, we're not going to be held prey or be victimized of a lot of these different viruses out there, because we know that COVID is, for the most part, not all, is affecting those that have compromised immune system, the elderly and others with chronic diseases. Right?
Right.
Yeah. And so then the third is exercise. And we've done a lot of that, lots of hikes. And tomorrow we're going up top to Black Elk Peak, the highest peak in South Dakota, or the highest peak in this area, going east all the way to the Pyrenees in France, 7,200 feet. So we're going to enjoy that. And then we get our sleep. You know, if you're doing all the pillars of wellness, the Creator Model of Healthcare, you're going to get good sleep. And we've been sleeping well because we're exercising, getting our water, eating right, you know. And the most important thing we do every morning, start our day off, is we get right with the Lord. Right? We start it off with prayer or devotions. You know, and that's our reflection each day. You know, because we know that prayer is the best medicine and our Creator is the great physician. And so that is, in essence, the Creator Model of Healthcare, the 5 pillars of wellness. That's the model of healthcare that we need to be promoting, and with, you know, the good hand washing, and at times wearing a mask if you're compromised or you have a cough or a cold, and washing your hands thoroughly and things along those lines. So that's just as important or more important than the mask, the social distancing, the hand sanitizer, and all those things, because if you're not stimulating your immune system, all that really is for naught.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And so where do you think we should be going into the future with all of this in terms of the mask, the hand sanitizer, and things along those lines? What's your gestalt, Patrick?
Well, you and I talked about that today. Is that what we all have to accept?
Yeah.
I mean, do we need to move to this new norm, or can we say, how do we gradually move away from that?
Yeah.
Again, not my opinion, but something we talked about, the hand sanitizing and all that. Is that really good for you?
Right.
Over and over again, multiple times throughout the day. Breathing through a mask versus breathing air, you're still going to touch your face, you're going to adjust it, it's uncomfortable, it makes you hot.
Yeah.
Is that really, you're going to probably reuse it without washing it?
Sure.
I mean, are those things helpful or
It
somewhat
actually
hurtful?
could be actually promoting disease, right?
Right.
Yeah, because we're not doing what we should be doing. And you know, folks, I could have COVID all over my hands or any other virus or pathogen. If I don't touch my face, it isn't going to bother me. It isn't going to bother me. And then I wash my hands. And all that alcohol base, it's going to dry the hands, crack the hands, cause other problems. We were meant to be in the dirt. You know, doesn't mean we don't wash our hands, but if we disrupt the gut biome, the good bacteria in our gut, with all this alcohol and all these things that we're doing, then food or all diseases start in the gut. We're going to change the gut biome. That's going to change our immune system, and it's going to lead to more infection. And so it really comes down to, folks, common sense. If you're sick, stay at home. That's well before COVID. We should be doing that. You know, if you're coughing, cough into your shirt, turn away, or you wear a mask if you want. Okay, but I really don't think going into the future, going to restaurants, wearing masks, sitting 6 feet apart all the time, standing in line, doing all that, that's creating more panic, more fear, more unrest, and to me it doesn't make sense.
Right. And one of the things you and I have talked about is, you know, the unintended consequence of this is a lot of isolation.
Sure.
And,
That's
you know,
very
for
true.
all of us, we're people, we're based on relationships, and, you know, we've
Yes, we
either
are.
been stuck in our homes or distanced or whatever. You know, I have college-age kids that finished the semester online. One of them had to do a presentation that was supposed to be face-to-face online. across multiple states, it's just different.
It is.
And again, is that something that we want to accept
Yeah.
moving forward?
You know, and I think each one of us has to grip this and wrap ourselves around how this is going to work for us. And I think common sense probably is sometimes not so common, and we can't be living in fear or panic based on the sensationalism that you've talked about with the news, you know, and if there's nobody around you, why do you have a mask on?
Right.
You know, that doesn't make sense to me. And so, you know, stimulate your immune system. All life and healing comes from God. We're all responsible for our health. The government's not responsible for my health. I am. You're responsible for yours. We agree on that. And when we live fully alive that way, then I know that we can get through this pandemic, because folks, what we're doing, whether we realize it or not, is herd immunity. Okay? We're not going to have a vaccine in time. Who knows how effective it's going to be. Herd immunity is when you get 60 to 70% of your population immune. And most of us with healthy immune system aren't going to be affected. And so we'll get that herd immunity. We keep the elderly, those immune compromised, safe. They wear masks. They do some social distancing until we get this herd immunity. And we'll get that over the next 3, 4, 5 months. And life can go on as normal. The big push, folks, is we have to change behavior.
Right.
We're not a healthy country. And so if you're drugging, you got to stop it. If you're drinking too much, all that suppresses our immune system. Smoking, not getting enough exercise, too much stress. All of that promotes inflammatory response. So you're more susceptible to any infection. And so the answer is work hard, stimulate the immune system to live fully alive, mind, body, spirit. And so when the next COVID comes, we're not in a panic. Okay? We've already set the stage. We know how to social distance appropriately. We know when to wear the mask. We know to isolate the elderly. And we don't have to shut down the economy. We don't have to live in panic and fear. You know, fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is forget everything and run. Why not let fear be forgive everything and rejoice and live fully alive? And so we don't need to go through this type of panic and fear in the future if we believe we're made in the image of God, we believe our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, and that we are responsible for our health.
Right.
So there's ownership here, right? Empowerment.
Yes.
You know, and so coming from two common men, blue-collar guys that love the world, love this country, and just want to throw that out there for people to maybe chew on. And again, we'll meet you where you're at. We take masks with us because if somebody would prefer us to have a mask, if I'm in Walmart or a different store, I'll put it on out of respect. Okay? It's not about me being right, Patrick being right, or them being right. It's about respecting one another, living with one another in a mutually respectful environment. You know, the great Lakota Nation out here has a saying, Mitaki o Yosin, which means we're all related. Okay? It's beautiful. And we are. We're all related. We're all one in Christ Jesus. And so we appreciate your time, the privilege of your time, and many blessings coming from the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota with much love. Have a wonderful day.
See you later.
Bye now. Hey, Susana, Jesus heals.